Welcome to Magical Women. I'm your host, Connie Boyd. Thank you so much for your messages and comments. We really appreciate them. Please keep them coming and I'll try to answer them all. If you have questions or there's a topic that you would like us to discuss, please comment below. If there's a magical woman you'd like us to interview, please comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the notifications bell so that you'll know when new videos are posted. This week I'm speaking with Amanda Nepo, and this is part 2 of our conversation. I just want the viewers to understand a little bit more about you and how you create your magic and all those fun things that you're going to, provide some insight. Do you have any other skills that you use when you're creating your magic?
I'm always open to other things. So let's say if I'm trying to find a method, I'm always open to looking into other things. I remember there's one trick I did and the part of the method was a pop-up box. And that was literally one time I got an invitation and it was flat. And then when you did it, it popped up into a box. All I did is searched up on YouTube, pop-up box, and I used that for an effect. And yeah, otherwise it's either just implanting parts of my life into magic that I already know. So yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really like about how you're presenting your magic is that you put your own little signature on it. Yeah. So you have your own stories and they're very short and very concise, but they're really engaging. So can you just kind of share with the viewers how do you create your stories? Does the magic come first or the story come first or both?
Usually it's sort of when I have a sort of small idea, what I do is I kind of think oh, what's it known for? So I'll give shampoo. When I think of shampoo, I think of the mini shampoo bottle. So maybe I do an effect with that. And usually when I go off what it's known for, it automatically gives me a script. So that's a lot of times how I create. And if not, then I'll usually just think, after I have the magic, I'll think, why am I doing it? Because I feel a lot of times you see in magic, somebody's okay, and I'm going to do this. And then it's well, why are you doing it? So I kind of just think, why would I be doing it? Why would I be showing it? And then usually from practice, I just build the script from there.
Right. Well, I watched your sort of tutorial on how you did the baby bottles, and it was fascinating and very clever, and how you used an old principle with the milk and then adapted it to this new premise. So it was very clever. Good for you.
Thank you.
So is your brain always just going, and or do you have to actually channel it, or do things just come at you with dreams at night?
I mean, it depends. So for me, a thing that I always try to do is just always be aware of things around. So no, I'm not just waiting for an idea to come, but I'm always trying to be aware to get inspired. If I were to go to a movie, instead of just someone being oh wow, that was a good movie, I'll be oh, what if I could use that for a magic effect? So usually I'll do that. And then if I already have a small I want to do something I wanted to do something with toilet paper, then I build from there if it needs to be sort of purposeful and I know what I want to make.
Or hand sanitizer, like you did with the hand
yes,
sanitizer. Clever.
Yeah.
And topical.
Definitely.
What would you say is the biggest achievement that you've had so far, Amanda?
What I've created, I'm very proud of all the stuff I've made so far, and a lot of other magicians have seemed to really like it. I'd say when I was at Magic Camp, Danny Garcia was there, and I showed him one of my effects, and he loved it. He thought it was great. I went to a magic convention, and I talked with Garrett Thomas about a trick that I showed him a trick, and then we had a whole long conversation about it. So I'd say that's what I'm proud of. That I've had the opportunities to talk to well-known magicians and that they like my stuff.
Yeah, and encourage you. They're encouraging of you. Yeah, which is fabulous. But it's a lot of magicians approach it with technique, and they'll sort of follow a path, but you're making your own path. You're going completely off to the left. So it's not just that you're a female in more or less a male-dominated industry, although it sounds like you've been embraced. You haven't had any problems whatsoever. Everybody's very nurturing. But it's fascinating how your mind works and how you've developed this magic. Subscribe now and click on the bell to receive weekly notifications of new content. We have so many fabulous women. Don't miss their stories, their struggles, and their successes. It's pretty spectacular. Can you tell the viewer some of the things that you've invented, just to give them a reference point so they can sort of understand?
Some of the things I've invented? Well, most of the stuff that I could say is like on my Instagram. Right. I usually post my ideas on there.
So just mention a few things so that they can look for them.
Yeah, so one that I'm proud of is I had like a appearing toilet paper, but what I did is it was an empty toilet roll, and then, you know, I gave it like a shake or whatever, and it came to a full roll. I did something recently where I took a fan of cards and I turned it into a printed picture of a fan. You know, I've like another recent one, I've taken like an apple, like there's like this like trick where like there's an apple and a fork and you hold it and you make it float. I sort of put my own twist on that and like made like hear from it. Yeah. So yeah, sort of like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Fabulous. What would you say is your biggest fear, and how have you overcome that?
Going up to people to perform magic, because I always feel weird. First off, I don't want to interrupt or anything like that. And then also, I just don't like coming and be like, hey, I'm a magician. Part of the magic is that you don't know that it was coming, you know?
Right. Are you generally a little bit timid, a little bit shy?
Sometimes. I mean, usually once I get into performing, I'm pretty confident and all. But I'd say like, yeah, like usually I'm not the person who like goes up to someone and says, hey, can I show you a magic trick? I usually wait for someone to ask or something like that.
I relate. I probably, if I had to be a close-up magician, I would probably have to quit magic because I'm shy. I think a lot of people have that fear of, you know, just approaching people and, you know, making them uncomfortable, and certainly you're uncomfortable. Do you have a worst magic disaster that you'd like to share, and then what you learned from it and how you overcame it?
Yeah.
Them.
Yes, I have quite a few, but one in particular, it was my second year of Tannen's Magic Camp, and it was the competition. So I entered a competition for the first time, and when I performed it, the trick I was doing, it was pretty much, I made like a little like paper gun with like a few rubber bands, and you could shoot a little paper ball sort of thing. So I'd have the spectator hold it and shoot it at like a box of cards. The first time I did it, the paper gun broke. So then I just had to have them throw the little paper ball. But surprisingly, the judges liked it, and I got into like the top 4 kind of thing. And so then what you do is you work on your act, and then you perform it for the whole magic camp. So this time I prepared. I made sure I had a separate gun. I made sure I made it good and all. So the person comes up, they shoot it, and it breaks again. But it's okay. I have a second one. They shoot it, and that one breaks too. But thankfully, for sort of like the performance style and how it worked, I had them throw it again, and it all went out fine. I got second place in that competition, which was nice. But I'd say for that, I didn't realize at the time, but again, how the act was sort of made, it made sense for the gun to break and all. Like literally after people asked, they were like, oh, was it rigged? Like, was it supposed to break? And that's exactly what you want to have when you mess up. You want it to seem like it was purposeful. So, yeah, and just in general, be prepared for anything to happen.
Right. So you would recommend having a plan B and a plan C, because trying to think through all the options that could potentially go wrong, just so that you have, you're a little bit prepared if and when it happens.
Yeah. And also to make sure that whatever the plan is, it's not like it's a worse plan than your original one. Like, even though the thing didn't work, it still came out good because my character was sort of like involved in the act, and, you know, the trick still worked.
Right.
So I think, yeah.
Now, you just referred that you were your character. Are you playing a character? Are you playing yourself as a character, or?
Really play, I say character just because like I'm saying like my personality, like me, but yeah, it's really just me. Maybe like just like a little bit more like emphasized me more.
On steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah, just embellished a little bit more so that you pop. Yeah, cool. Interesting. What is the hardest magic effect that you've learned so far?
For that, I'd say it's like I have this like color change. I don't. Do you want me to show it, or I can?
Sure. Yeah.
Just
Do you have it?
I don't know. I have like a light on, but you can see it's that. Then show it, and there you go. You have a different card. So yeah, that would be like a hard sleight that I know, but for the most part, I really don't do a lot of sleights and all. I'd say, like, for that, I really like that just because you know how hard you worked for it. So then, like, you always want to show it. And for me, that's kind of been segued instead of, like, hard sleights, it's been creating magic. You know, when I work really hard to, like, make an effect work, it's like, well, now, of course, I want to show it to everyone. So I'd say, for me, the hardest magic is, like, creating the magic.
How do you challenge yourself if you decide you want to do something? Where does the idea come from? And then how do you research it to make it come to fruition from a little tiny seed to a...
Yeah. Well, before when we talked about it, I usually try to always be aware, so I can always, like, whenever anything happens in life, I can always get an idea from that. Then from that small idea, usually I'll ask questions. So I'll ask, what is that idea known for? Like, what is the concept or idea? What is it known for? What are the qualities of it? What does it look like? Then from there, a big part for me is visualizing how it looks. I want to know exactly. So, like, we could say for that card change, am I going to wave my hand? Am I going to just turn it over? Those are all very important things that I try to make sure I visualize and I have a clear idea on what I want it to be. Once I have that idea, then I go into methods. So I just think logically, how would that be done? If I know that there's some stuff that's already on it, I might like research and see what I could use it for. And if not, then usually I'll make my own method. And that's the same thing, thinking logically how it would work. And I usually go back to asking questions. So for like this, I'll say, well, you know, what's the advantage of me waving my hand over? What's the advantage of me turning it? Or do I not want to turn it? What's the advantage of doing this or disadvantage? Right. So I'd say that's kind of how it all comes together.
Yeah, it's a very good process with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Can you tell us something that you're working on right now?
Right now, I'd say of course, I'm still trying to create a lot, especially during quarantine. I'm trying to sort of, hopefully, when quarantine is kind of over-ish, I'll be able to get right into performing, you know, so like sort of like making a brand. Definitely now it's more getting known, you know, through media and all, like doing things like this and stuff like that. Gosh, this was awesome. So
my pleasure. Like I said, you just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed this talk, please click on the thumbs up, comment, and let us know what you enjoy and what we can do to improve our future Magical Women Talks. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the notifications bell so that you'll know when new videos are posted. Stay safe, and remember, life begins at the end of your comfort zone.